Welcome back to the show. This is Hard Talk here on GH Today. This man I'm going to introduce burst into our media scenes with his vocals. He was very vociferous, speaking truth to power, but that landed him in trouble. And a lot of people thought he was going to be incarcerated for life. But then, was it a miracle or it was lack of evidence? He was acquitted and discharged this year. 4 years of battle, how has he been? Does he think our justice delivery system serves its purpose? Has he forgiven the people who put him through this persecution that he caused? Has he forgiven Dominic Nitiwo? Has he forgiven the NPP? We'll find out here on the show. ACP Benjamin Agordzo is my guest. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. And how are you too?
I'm doing awesome. It's good to see you. You look very well.
Oh yes, I've been well all the time. Very unperturbed, knowing very well that at the end of the day, I was going to be vindicated and acquitted. And that's what I was looking forward to.
Let's talk a bit about your deal. I mean, there's a reason he's here. He's launched a book. And I, for one, I'm very particular about what is inside this book. I mean, being a barracks girl, knowing that a lot of police people were very conservative growing up in the barracks. But for somebody like you're very outspoken. How was the ordeal from the very first day you were called to come to the BNI, now NIB, through to the day you started going to your first court appearances, and then the final day of acquittal?
Let me say that throughout my life, I've always held certain principles to stand by what is right. And when I stand by what is right, I don't care about the consequences.
Okay.
I know it has consequences. But you see, if we always want to think about the negative aspect, it will always be that we will not venture into anything. So right from the beginning, I knew what was ahead of me. I knew it was going to be a long journey. Because as a police officer myself, with my 35 years experience and everything, I knew what people had gone through. But I never, ever thought that I was going to go through it myself. So when it started, I knew what was ahead of me. And I prepared and psyched myself for it.
What was going through your mind?
I knew, I even thought that it was going to be longer.
Really?
Yes. And when you read my book, you will come to appreciate the reasons why I'm saying that it could have been longer. Look, in my opinion, and this is not without prejudice to whatever anybody had done, to have a high treason case where we move from one court to another, and then the main trial started and ended in less than 3 years, in my opinion, was like justice hurried.
Oh.
Listen carefully to me. You come to appreciate that the prosecution called 13 witnesses. Then the accused persons, and then it means that the accused persons were 10, and all their lawyers had to cross-examine and re-examine. You know what it means. Then the accused persons were 10. They had to be cross-examined and re-examined. We had Christmas break, about 3 Christmas break. We had about 3 Easter breaks, or 2 Easter break. Then we had
legal vacation.
We had legal vacation. Oh, I mean, minus all these things, this case happened in less than 3 years. And in my opinion, too many things were hurried. That is my opinion.
Did you know any of your other accused counterparts? What was the relationship like?
Know them as in...
Had you met them prior
before,
to being, prior to being arrested
yes.
and gone on trial?
I had said that I did not know about 8 of them, but I had met Dr. McPalm.
The late Dr. McPalm.
The late Dr. McPalm. And it was in connection with his medical outreach program, which was on the platform, the Take Action Ghana platform. Now, I like to say that I joined the Take Action Ghana platform, the TAG platform, mainly based on these medical outreach things, humanitarian actions that they were taking. And I met a lot of professors, lawyers, engineers on the platform who were also doing that thing. And therefore, by the time I joined, they had traveled to Koforidua, Eastern region. They had traveled to Upper East region. They had gone to Volta region. I think somewhere Western region or so. And they were planning to go to Agbogboloshi for a medical outreach program. That is where I joined. And therefore, people had made contributions, some even in dollars, to support that good cause. I made a contribution of 2,000.
2,000 cedis.
2,000 cedis.
Okay.
And that's what I met Dr. McPalm and gave it to. I've taken time to explain this so that you appreciate the fact that if I had been held because partly or mainly on abatement because I paid 2,000, then what are those who paid in dollars?
Why
arrest
then
them?
were you singled out? Was it because you're too vociferous?
That is why I call it persecution. Because you mentioned a name which I've decided not to mention. This is somebody I'm still on a WhatsApp platform with.
Oh, you're still on a WhatsApp
I'm
platform?
still on that WhatsApp platform
Okay.
with the minister. And I shared my opinion. I expressed my opinion on something. And then he comes back a few weeks after and reposted my opinion and said he must be brought to order. And then in no time, an institution which is defense intelligence that he supervises now starts an investigation on me. So you will see that, I mean, they knew right from the beginning they did not have evidence, but they were just trying to teach me a lesson.
Did you ever offend Dominic Nitiwo?
I had never met him.
Okay.
I had never known him. And even today, I've never met him face to face. I see him from afar in television or something. But maybe I think that he's not one person who is amenable to different opinions. That's how I see him. Because otherwise, I don't see why.
Do you think he's vindictive?
More than vindictive. More than vindictive. The other day, I called another person very vindictive, and he's more than vindictive. For nothing. For no reasons. Because if I express my opinion on an issue and you don't like it, and it's a security, and the Minister for Interior is there, who was, I would say, is even my supervisor. Why don't you find a way of, I think you could tone down or you could find a way of, but I expressed an opinion on something that somebody had posted. And then all of a sudden, you come on to say that I should be brought to order. And in no time, I've been invited to BNI. Only for me to realize that my invitation to BNI was occasioned by an investigation that was started by the Defense Intelligence under your supervision. What else do I say?
Don't you think he was acting as a defense minister?
I think I don't think defense ministers must act like that. That I will leave it there. Defense minister or a security couple will find a better way of dealing with that issue. I mean, in my opinion, it was too amateurish. I mean, they could have done better than this. Yes.
Have you forgiven him?
I don't have anything against him, but nothing stops me from calling him out. Because, you see, I do this not because I believe in that vengeance is God's.
The Lord's.
And therefore, whatever they did to me, I don't have anything against them. Maybe they have brought the best out of me. Because maybe I wouldn't have been able to write a book if they had not gone through this. Despite my PhD, I may not have been able to write a book. Because of them.
The book is turned, so.
Okay. Because of them, I have written a book of over 500 pages. Now, so I've forgiven them. I don't hold anything against them. But I believe that I am doing what I'm doing now, writing, because I want others to learn and also to sensitize people as to what to expect when they are dealing with our justice system.
Now, as you talk about our justice system, what's your take on our current justice delivery system?
Our justice system needs a lot of reform.
How so?
from the police, through the BNI, the courts, the Attorney General's office, the way it is structured, it can easily send an innocent person to prison. And my experience is a testimony.
Please go back to that again. You say the way our justice delivery is structured, it can send an innocent person to prison.
Yes. That's an opinion I'm expressing. I've always expressed my
You
opinion.
have always been in the security service.
Yes.
And if you say this, then it is deep.
It's very deep. I would have been, and I said it earlier today, if it were not because by the grace of God, and if it were not because of my experience and my diligence, they could have sent me to prison, even though they themselves knew that I had not done anything wrong. And if you remember carefully, when I was acquitted, the Attorney General came out to say that he had even said that he would have been pained if I had been. Why was he going to be pained? Because he knew what he was doing was wrong. And so at a point in time, his conscience convicted him, and he expressed that even in court. These are not my words. These are his own words in an interview, that he would have been pained. He had told his colleagues that when the judgment was being read, he would have been pained if I had been. So that tells you that somehow, look, our justice system, whether from the police or from the BNI, when they start investigation, they can push an agenda by concocting stories and get it stuck to the point that the courts may have no other option than to imprison you.
You have in some interviews called the BNI, now NIB, unprofessional. Don't you think it is a security threat to have a whole National Bureau of Investigation have unprofessionals in there?
Well, I will say that I am relating my experiences, and based on my experience.
Your experiences as a security couple?
As a security couple, and also as a victim in their hands. Not just as a security couple. Maybe before this incident, I may not have said they are unprofessional. But having gone through their hands, having experienced them, having known what they did to me and what they are capable of doing, having known some of the things that they did, I could say, with all evidence in this book, that there are too many unprofessionals in that system.
Is it not a security threat to us?
Well, there are a lot of security threats in Ghana. We have been told recently that there are terrorists in the north. So there are a lot of security threats.
The National Security Ministry has come out to debunk it.
Fine, I agree. I don't have a problem with it. I'm saying we have read information to that effect. And I believe that nobody can deny the fact that terrorists surround us. So for me, I don't want to go into those arguments. The most important thing I'm saying is that based on my experience, and as a researcher, you know that qualitative research, one person's experience can be used to generalize certain things. Yes, an outcome. And therefore, my experience, which I've documented. And listen, this is based on data. What I've written is based on data. And the data is not an imagination. It is from court proceedings. It is from the disclosures that they have given us. And based on what I have experienced with them. That's what constituted this book. And then I have also used research to look at the standards elsewhere in different countries and what ought to be, and then draw a conclusion.
Do you think some of your utterances at this particular IDEG lecture on the Arab Spring offended this government?
I love this question. I love it for one reason. You see, when I was granted bail, I'm a very curious person.
Okay.
So I went back, searched the media space to listen and read everything, every comment that people had made. And I listened to a comment by Kweku Baku, who said that whatever was happening to me at the time had no linkage to the IDEC
lecture.
It's just unfortunate people could make statements without knowing what they were talking about. everything that happened to me was remotely connected to my IDEG presentation. In a third world country like Ghana, in Africa in particular, when you are assertive, and you are assertive to the point of attacking the presidency, and I'm not saying attacking the president, I'm talking about attacking the presidency, whether it is party A or party B. When you speak about the presidency in a very strong manner, you find yourself in the security radar, national security radar. And therefore, I wasn't surprised that after that, and I knew the implication. When I was going to give that lecture, I knew what it could result to. And so when after I had given the lecture, people kept calling me, Ben, be careful, take care of yourself. They are looking out for you. And I knew it. Now, before then, I had my own intelligence and information which I had processed and known, and people had informed me that the defense intelligence was already calling me out for making a statement on another platform to say that the president should be held ultimately responsible for the torture of certain journalists in the past because he is the one we voted for. And so they described me as somebody who was then, or who is then, disloyal to the president. So even before the IDEC presentation, my name was with the Defense Intelligence and the BNI. And therefore, I had known that these things were playing out. So I wasn't surprised that by the time that the defense minister decided to repost my opinion and said that I should be called to order, he had already seen my name on the tag platform.
Okay.
Again, even on the platform on which we were, I had said openly that I knew Dr. McPalm late. I made it. Then somebody else asked me, are you sure? Are you saying that you're on that platform? I said, yes. Are you sure you know Dr. McPalm? I said, yes, I have met him before. Soon after that, the man posted my... So that tells you that he was being vindictive. He was clearly being vindictive. Now we have gotten him. Now that he has some association with this person, let's try to pin him to it. And that was exactly what happened. And that's why I called it persecution, which I have described vividly in every aspect of it.
If you had to go back in time, would you have joined the TAG platform? Would you have given that IDEG lecture?
If I have the opportunity today, I'll give that IDEG lecture in even a more, even in a more serious and more vibrant way, with more examples and better examples. Because now I have better examples to give than I had at that time. And I will still be in TAG, on TAG platform. And remember, I'm still on TAG platform. I've not moved out of it. I've not deleted myself from it. In some cases, I was on 1 or 2 or 3 TAG platforms because there was a main TAG platform, and then there was something when they were doing contribution or something. So there were a few platforms that, and I'm on all of them. In some cases, everybody has left, and I've become the
administrator.
The administrator.
Okay.
But I'm still there.
Okay.
Because one, the TAG platform has not been prescribed. Even after the judgment, it has not been prescribed by any law that from maybe the TAG platform ceases to be, because they themselves have realized that the TAG platform was not used to plan any coup. Because let me say this, if I have proven to you right now that at the time I joined, there were many people, including lawyers in this country. Just unfortunate that some of them decided not to speak out. Some of them were even on the platform before I joined. So if I'm being accused, and they had also contributed in dollars and in cedis. So if I'm being accused for contributing to that, why wouldn't people say, no, we have all contributed? I was bold enough to say I'm on that platform, I have known the man. If many people more, you see, this is one problem with Ghana. Everybody wants to have to self-preserve. That's self-preservation. Fine, it's the first order. But the point is that if we stick to it too much, we will get stuck in underdevelopment. because everybody is so afraid. Oh, my children are still young. I have this. So nobody. If the judge, if the lawyers on the platform, if the engineers on the platform, if the professors on the platform came out to declare that no, we were all on that platform. We also paid for this medical outreach. So we are surprised that you are arresting Dr. Agordzo because he paid 2,000. Don't you think that things would have been different? It would have been different. But everybody kept quiet. These days, as a result of my flyers I see some of them responding, looking at it, and I've decided not to even invite them
Who are
the
these
lunch.
people?
I don't want to mention their names. They know themselves.
Would you invite the defense minister for this lunch?
I've invited the government of the day. I've invited the opposition. I've invited all kinds of people. But I've not invited him as an individual.
Okay.
Yes. But if he decides to come...
Do you have a certain
I've
rift?
even invited the Attorney General's office, yes.
Okay. Do you have a certain rift with the NPP government? I say this because somewhere in 2007, you're stripped of your uniform.
Yeah.
You appealed, you came back before they left office. Under the same NPP, you were stripped of your uniform and then you came back.
Maybe this question should be directed to the NPP themselves, whether I had done something against them. Because
do you have an alliance with the NDC?
No. I've never had alliance with NDC, and nobody can say that I have had any alliance with NDC. Okay? I had done my work always professionally. By the way, the irony is that it was under my coordination as a director of operation who managed the 2016 election that the NPP came to power. And I did that under the supervision of Mr. Kudalo and Mr. GHOne. But I was the main actor in the theater. And I had invited the MPP people, all those people, those powerful people in authority now, to meetings and other things. None of them could say that they sense that I was so biased or so partial and against them in any way. Today they can pretend that I belong to another party. But the fact remains, and I must make that clear here, that having treated me this way, I don't think that they can be my friends anyway. Okay? Because a party that has persecuted me to the point of denying me of my job and have not even had the courtesy of apologizing to me. Apology. Just call my lawyers and say, look, we need to meet this guy. They've not said they are
do you want an apology?
You know something? If they had called my lawyers and said that, look, we have realized that this guy from the beginning did not have any case. He has also lost his job for one reason or the other, although he's been restored before going back or whatever. But I think that we didn't do well. We apologize or this. And then a form of compensation that will not make me go to court. I think they could have done better.
What compensation do you require? Financial compensation?
Well, I'm not here
Do you want to be made an ambassador?
I'm not talking about any of those. I'm saying that compensation can be in many forms.
Okay.
Can be in many forms, and I don't have anything in mind. But it's something that could be negotiated.
Okay.
It's something that could be negotiated because they themselves know. Have you heard them say they will go on appeal?
No.
That tells you that it's settled. And they know that what the court has said is final. You know this Attorney General will always want to go for appeal. Has he said that in my case?
No.
He himself regretted, according to his own words. And he himself has been caught. Okay, not caught, but my lawyer has already intimated that he mentioned that he only added me. And I was present when he said it. And the circumstances under which he said it, I've documented in this book.
Have you received your arrears from the police service?
I've received my arrears for the time that I was on interdiction.
Okay.
But I've not received my retirement benefits yet.
Okay.
Because I'm still waiting for some of the wrongs to be made right. For instance, my promotion must be given me because once I'm acquitted, it's as if...
Post-retirement, your promotion, post-retirement.
No. I was supposed to be promoted.
Okay.
Even at the time that I was being tried.
Okay.
My colleagues were promoted. And therefore, once I'm acquitted, I should be promoted. And my retirement should be based on my retirement
benefits.
My benefits must be based on my status. Now, if I go for that money now, as an assistant commissioner, that's the end. So I'm waiting for that thing to be made right. Now, if it will take me years, I will stay without it.
You seem to be interested in a lot of democracy-related issues. If an invitation was extended to you today, will you join Democracy Hub?
I have always thought of joining them. Let me be frank with you. I've always thought of joining them. The only reason why I have not, and I have always supported them in my heart and my conscience and everything. I just left a place where I mentioned their names. I'm saying that I support them, I love them, and I would have joined. But I think that I'll be a target. I'll be a target, and there's no doubt that they will use it against me again. So I'm very careful which demonstrations I want to. I've expressed the opinion, sometimes telling my lawyer, this demonstration, I want to attend. Then they say, well, it's your right. But when I reflect a bit, sometimes I say, okay, Democracy Hub, I will know. I want something that is general. Then I will join. Because if I join them, look at what they did to Baka and others. Or what Baka is alleged that they've done to you. Look at what they allegedly did to the woman who was prevented from using his medicine and medications and other things. Now, the fact remains that if they got me again, maybe this time they will do worse things to me.
Your other counterparts who were sentenced to death by hanging, have you heard of them? Have they been hanged yet?
So far as I'm aware, I think this death penalty thing is a question that is questionable. So I don't expect them to be hanged, but I know they are still in prison. I've not had contacts with them yet, but I hope to do that after my lunch. I hope to visit them after my lunch.
After your book launch. I'll talk about your book launch shortly. But what's your take on current happenings in Parliament? Former President Mahama says we need a constitutional review. What's your take on it?
I'm happy you talked about constitutional review. Constitutional review is something some of us have been asking for many years, and my IDEC presentation was also emphasizing that thing. Until we amend parts of our constitution, or we have a second look at our constitution, we'll be going in circles. That's my strong opinion. Even in the police service, the appointment procedures and all kinds of things, until we do something specific about it, we look at it, spend time on the constitution. Because many years ago, we did not anticipate certain things that are happening today, but they are really happening. Other countries have not amended theirs because they've been able to find conventions and other things which have worked. Now, even precedents are not working because one says that a speaker says, we had that, the speaker was wrong then, but he's right, he's wrong, but we didn't say it. But today, when that precedent is used, we are saying that, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but what I'm saying is that even precedents are not helping us, conventions are not helping us, so we need to amend the constitution to suit our current circumstances. And I will be in for all that, and it's very important we do that.
Let me chip in the Boko situation. This morning, we've seen a number of reports of people killed. You have been a security couple for so long, over 36 years. Do you think that there's something we're missing solving this Boko crisis?
I wish this question had not come my way because it is likely to take attention from my book launch. But I think that we could do better than what we are doing now. We are going in circles, and it's as though in one of the chapters in this book, I posed the question whether our security is being managed with political vigilante mentality. Now, that's another thing. So you see why I don't want to delve into this issue. If you look around us, and I got data from what is happening around to prove my point, it appears that our security or national security is being managed with a kind of political vigilante mentality. Vindictiveness, arbitrary arrest, silencing the media, silencing voices that matter. These are all political vigilante mentality things that I'm talking about. And so when you look at it, when you read my book, you come to appreciate the circumstances under which I came to this conclusion. And it's one of the chapters I've addressed. I'll leave this Boku thing there, and I will not delve into it. But at the right time, given the opportunity, I'll talk about it.
Okay. I definitely want to bring you back sometime later. But let's talk about your book, 500 page.
Yeah.
Why? That's a lengthy book.
Yeah, it's a lengthy book.
What did you chronicle in the book?
I chronicled issues surrounding my invitation. I chronicled the processes and procedures that were used at the BNI. I chronicled principles and procedures that were breached and violated at the BNI, at the Attorney General's Department, even at the courts. And certain treatments that were given to the accused persons at the time. Breaches in international customary laws like innocence before proving guilty. And I have come to the conclusion that our justice system is such that you are treated and seen as a guilty person even before you are
Put before the courts.
even before you are the court has come out with a final judgment on you. And I've given instances where that thing has been done. Because the Constitution talks about equality. Now, do we receive the same opportunities as the prosecution team? When I ask permission that I have something to do, will I be treated the same way when the Attorney General's office, because Attorney General is a party to the what is happening in the case. I'm also a party to it. So we need equal treatment, isn't it?
Yes.
That is what the law says. But do we have that equal treatment in the court system, in the way we are treated, in our health issues? When the Attorney General says, for one reason or the other, he is unable to come to court today, or he reports sick, or so and so, will he be accorded the same respect, the same whatever, like me, when I'm an accused person? Is that treatment there? How is the courtroom atmosphere like? Is it intimidating? Is it a top-down approach? Does it accord the accused person respect and dignity? From the BNI to the court. What are some of them? So I have chronicled details of everything that happened from the beginning to the last day that I was acquitted. Now, the interesting thing is this. I did not sit down to write my book after my acquittal.
Oh, really?
By the day that the judgment was given and I was acquitted, I had written 26 out of the 28 chapters.
Wow.
And that tells you that when you are reading my book, it is so detailed. Because I return from Kaneshi Court and I sit down and I write the issues and put it in this chapter, distribute it very well. When I return from the High Court, whatever transpired that day, did it breach any law? I cite the law and also come out with research, do research to find out what was done in this case.
Did you proffer solutions in the book?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay.
A lot of solutions. This book would have been useless if it did not have solutions. And I proffer solutions. And that's why the purpose for this book is not to malign anybody. Although I would say they were unprofessional in some cases. It is not necessary to malign anybody. It's not necessary to denigrate anybody. It is to highlight certain weaknesses in our system with a view to reforming the system. Because, listen, I never thought one day that I was going to find myself in police custody, let alone BNI custody, but I did. In the same way, whether you are a journalist or you are a politician, you could also find yourself there. So it is in our interest to ensure that this system, which is supposed to protect us, does not constitute injustice and then continue to put innocent people in prison.
When are you launching this book?
On the 30th of this month, that's Wednesday, just 2 days away.
Where?
At Christ the King at 4 o'clock to 7:30.
4 p.m. to 7:30
Yes,
p.m. Okay. Afterwards, how much are you selling the book for?
That will be known at the launch.
At the launch. Okay.
Launch.
We wish you all the best. I wish I had a longer time for this interview.
You have longer time when you have read the book, and then we can now talk openly
about the
content,
things
the content.
that you went through.
Yes.
Okay.
The things that we are expecting.
Okay, so he's launching his book. Is it open to the public and everybody coming?
Open to the public.
Okay.
In advertising that.
Christ the King, this Wednesday, 4 p.m. through till 7:30 p.m. ACP Dr. Benjamin Agordzo, retired, is launching his book From Persecution to Freedom. Now you're a free man. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.